Hi guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I am showing you how to make this eggless lemon loaf cake using our sourdough discard. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is use your room temperature softened salted butter, and with your electric beaters just on a low speed combine this, or just loosen it up rather, and then we're going to add some caster sugar to this. And once we add the caster sugar on a low speed, I'm going to mix the butter and sugar until well combined for about 2 minutes, first on low until the sugar combines, and then on medium for another minute. Now it's time to add some full fat milk here. So I'm going to add this in 2 batches. First I'll add a little, manually mix my electric beaters into the mix so that the milk doesn't splatter around everywhere. And then first on low speed I'll mix until the milk comes together. Now I'll add the rest of the milk, and along with that I'll also add my sourdough starter. There's an entire video on my YouTube channel on how to make sourdough starter from scratch, and the discard that you get after feeding your starter, this is the discard that we'll be using, and it gives your baked goods an incredible flavor and texture. Don't worry if you don't want to make this with sourdough discard. I have the recipe option as well to make it without the sourdough down in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. Now I will just mix this on a low speed until everything comes together, and then I will also increase the speed to medium and beat this for about 2 minutes. Now I'm going to add my dry ingredients. So I have some all-purpose flour. I'm adding half of that all-purpose flour first, then I'm adding some cornstarch, then I'm adding the rest of the all-purpose flour. This is so that the corn flour mixes uniformly. I've also added some baking powder, and now I'm going to sift this into my cake mix. And first on a low speed I will manually just mix. See what happened when I just started the mix, it all started to fly away, so don't do that. Manually mix the flour into the rest of the cake batter until it's well combined. Then on low speed start your electric beaters for 1 minute, and then increase the speed to medium and beat for another 2 minutes. Now scrape the sides and bottom of the bowl because the flour is going to go on to the sides, and you want it to be uniformly combined with the rest of the cake batter. Now for another 30 seconds just mix until well combined. Now it's time for us to add some lemon zest into this to make it more lemony. In fact, to make it lemony, because we haven't added anything lemon related just yet. I have used limes because lemons are very difficult to find here. So use what you have on hand. If you have lemons, then use the zest of half a lemon, or an entire lemon won't harm either. In fact, it will just make it more flavorful. I've added the zest of 1 lime. Now here I have some lime juice, and to that I am going to add some baking soda. And the second I do that, the second the soda touches the lime juice, it will start to get so fizzy. You're immediately going to add this fizzy mixture into the cake batter, and then on a low speed first you will mix until it just everything combines well, and then on medium speed you will beat this for another 2 minutes until well combined, and that is essentially our cake batter, which is ready. Now you're not going to immediately bake this because sourdough needs to work its action. If you're not using sourdough, you will put this right into a greased tin and pop it in a preheating oven. But if you're not, then you're just going to let this rest. So scrape the sides of the bowl and cover the bowl with a damp cloth and let it rest in a warm dark place for about 1 hour, and an hour later your cake batter will be ready to bake. So preheat the oven 15 to 20 minutes before baking to 160 degrees Celsius. Here I have a loaf tin and I have greased it very well. So now I'm going to pour my delicious sourdough lemon loaf cake batter into this tin and then spread it evenly. I'll bake this in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, or until the center comes out clean when you use a knife. And while that is baking, I am going to make my lemon glaze. So here I have some icing sugar. To that I'm going to start adding, first I'll add the zest of a lime or lemon, whichever you have on hand, and then I will start adding the juice of the lime or the lemon in tiny additions. So I'm using 1/4 of a teaspoon, and I'll be adding the juice ever so slightly, not all at once, because I still want that mix to be slightly thick. So when it sets on the cake, it creates a beautiful whitish yellow glaze instead of just dripping all over the place. So add it a little at a time. It may look like it's not coming together, but once you keep mixing it, it really gets nice and thick. So once it's that consistency, we'll keep our glaze aside. Now my cake is out of the oven. I have let it rest in the tin itself for 10 minutes, and now I have inverted onto a cooling rack to cool completely. Now this is my completely cooled cake. Do not add the icing on a warm cake. It's absolutely pointless. Let the cake cool down completely to room temperature. This takes about 2 to 3 hours. And add the glaze and let it drip along the sides, and let it just set for about half an hour before cutting right into it. And I know it's so difficult to control yourself and to have that kind of patience, but exercise that patience and it'll be so worth it. Now let's just slice into that cake, and you can see how stunning it looks on the inside. It is like a pillow, you guys, like literally like a pillow. It is so soft and so fluffy. I am just in awe of this cake. Like, the sourdough starter just adds so much flavor and texture, but you can also make this without and it will still be just as delicious, I promise you. So let's look at how fluffy that is. I mean, just look at that. It bounces back. It bounces back. So guys, this was my recipe for the sourdough lemon loaf cake, which I made eggless. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a big thumbs up, and also if you make the sourdough lemon loaf cake, then don't forget to post a photo to Instagram and tag me at Mind Body Glow with Famina. I'll see you again next time. Until then, goodbye and happy baking.